Hello, everyone, and thank you guys so much for joining us here today. I am joined by our awesome managing attorney, Ruby Powers. Today, we're going to be discussing the roadmap to a successful national interest waiver petition. So we're really excited to have you guys here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little presentation on our attorney. She founded our firm Powers Law Group in 2009, November 2009. So we've been rocking and rolling for a while, guys. She is a board certified immigration attorney, so she knows her stuff. She is also an author of Build and Manage Your Successful Immigration Law Practice, and most recently founded Power Strategy Group in 2020. So really excited for all the new stuff to come and all that's been going on. So I'm gonna let Attorney Powers go ahead and take it away with the learning objectives on what is a national interest waiver.
All right, thank you, everyone. And thank you for your patience. We got a little started late, but everything is recorded, so you get to watch it later if you, for any reason, you couldn't hop on today. So I hope you're staying warm and dry. Over here in Houston, it's a bit rainy and drizzly, and hopefully we keep the streets not from flooding. But anyway, let's move on. So the national interest waiver is something that a lot of people really are interested in because of the ability to apply without needing a job offer or secure employment. And so basically we call this like a self-petition way to get a green card or legal permanent residency here in the United States. So we're just going to go over what is it, the eligibility requirements, what happens if you don't have an advanced degree, the exceptional ability application process. And so this, just to say this, preface it, this does not take the place of a consultation. This is more give you some information and to make sure that you just sort of know how it works a little bit. And then we would encourage you all to have a one-on-one consultation where we can analyze your CV or resume closely, have a dialogue with you to be able to give you the best information possible. So the national interest waiver, the aliens seeking a national interest waiver requested that the labor certification be waived because normally you would have to go through the labor certification process, test the labor market, prove that an employer would have to sponsor you, prove they can't find anyone else to do the same job. But they're saying that because of this, the national interest, we're going to ask for a waiver of the labor certification process. And through the jobs that qualify for national interest waiver are not defined by statute, that's what's so much fun about it. The national interest waivers are usually granted to those who have exceptional ability and those who employed in the U.S. would greatly benefit the nation. So if we were to have you come and be in the U.S. and do your thing and excel and continue to grow and prosper, it would be greatly in the national interest. So they're seeking the national interest to self-petition. So like we said, no employer needed, no sponsor. And they could file their labor certification directly with USCIS along with the form I-140. So the I-140 is the petition for alien worker, and we would be able to prepare the whole entire packet, file it with the I-140 without having to have a job offer or secure employment. So in addition to providing evidence of advanced degree or exceptional ability, you must also meet the three of the national interest waiver criteria below to demonstrate it's in the national interest to waive that job requirement. So that would include, and we have them right here, to demonstrate both substantial merit and national importance, demonstrate that you are well positioned to advance on the endeavor, and be beneficial to the U.S. to waive the requirements. So let's just go back for a second. You have to, a minimum to qualify, you must hold an advanced degree. Now, some countries have a master's might only take a year, or they might do a bachelor in 3 years and a master's in 1. In the US, traditionally, it's 4 years for a bachelor's, 2 years for a master's. But we have solutions for this. You can get it reviewed and get a foreign degree evaluation to see what the equivalent would be and if it meets the requirements. So normally you must hold an academic or professional degree, a US degree above the bachelorate level, or a foreign degree that is equivalent to the US bachelorate level. And to be considered the equivalent of US degree, US master's degree, US bachelor's degree or foreign equivalent plus at least 5 years of progressive experience. So if you only have a bachelor's, which I mean is still a great thing, but for national interest waiver, we really need to go over and beyond. We need to at least have 5 years of additional progressive experience if you don't have a master's degree or the equivalent of a US master's, as I will. So basically, you need to have the US equivalent of a US advanced degree. If not, you can have a bachelor's plus 5 years of progressive experience. Progressive experience meaning you're continuing to grow, move up in your field, and you're not sort of plateauing or anything, that you can show that the possibilities of merit and that you are moving forward in advancing your endeavor. So going back to those 3 requirements we were talking about, demonstrate both substantial and merit and national importance. That can mean lots of different things. But if you are one of few people who are asked to speak at certain conferences in your field, you are writing articles, you're being cited, you have patents. These are some of the things that we are looking at to make sure that you meet these requirements. To demonstrate you're well positioned to advance in the endeavor, that really is showing like that trajectory that what you've done in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and that you've continuously progressed and where you're going into your future. And then being beneficial to the US. So this can be in lots of different ways. Here in Houston, we see them in oil and gas and being more efficient and identifying technologies. We've also seen this in AI and computing, cybersecurity, health field, medical. We also see this in environmental. I mean, actually, there's so many different possibilities that it's a very exciting field to work in national interest waivers. And one of the things that we do, I'll just go ahead and get ahead of myself for a second, is that when you have a consultation, we ask you to turn in your resume or CV in advance. Then we review it, and then we have questions, very specific questions for you when you have the Zoom, Skype, phone, and we're even doing in person now. And then the way I look at what we do is like sort of we're the bridge, the layperson bridge between you and USCIS. So we ask questions. We want, a lot of times when you're in a field, a specialty, you speak a special jargon. I used to be in the test prep field. We had our own little words. I'm in immigration the last, 15 or so years. We have our own little jargon. Sometimes people don't know what we're saying. And so that's usually what I find when people are excelling in their field, is that they have their resume is almost like a foreign language. And so I often talk to them in a consult and say, explain what this really means to me. And then I help that bridge to USCIS. The other thing I've noticed, and this is more of a practice pointer, is that a lot of times people don't add everything. This happens to me too. They don't add everything that they've done onto their resume because they just got busy and busy doing and they didn't put it on there. But this is your chance to shine and brag. And I know a lot of industries don't want your resume to be more than so many pages. But go ahead, go wild and crazy and make it as long as you want to, and we'll work with you as to what we think is the most important. So the applicant may also claim exceptional ability, a degree of expertise significantly above the ordinary encountered in the alien's profession. To qualify, they would show a degree relating to an area of exceptional ability, letters of past employers showing at least 10 years of experience, salary or remuneration demonstrating exceptional ability. So salary would mean, like, we can look online to find out what the average salary would be in that field. And if you are above that area, then that's what we can use to prove that. A membership in professional association, a lot of times people in their fields, they have to be, it's ideal that they're members of certain professional associations. Some of them are even more selective that you have to be asked to join. And so we look also to that, how many members there are, or could you get asked to join, who are the typical members of the professional association. And are you a leader in the professional association? Do you speak? Do you have a leadership role? Or how are you well respected in that field? And recognition for achievements and significant contributions in the industry or field. This could be through awards, being cited by your presentations, by where you've been asked to speak in front of others, especially if you are an expert among your peers. That's what we're looking for. And then if you're one of few people in the world who has this certain technology, this knowledge, this know withal, that helps your case tremendously. So what does it look like practically? The first step would be the I-140. So you have a consultation, we analyze your resume, we ask questions. We usually do a part 2, or you come back with a more complete resume, more awards, more speeches, more articles, more everything, because generally from doing this so many times, we find that people don't often, like I said, put everything there. And then while we're talking, we say, who would be peers or leaders in your field that you could ask for a letter, a reference letter recommendation. And we start making a list of those, so that, because we know that will take some time. So part 2 of the follow-up is really just sort of finalizing the strategy. And in that strategy, it's like, what documents are we going to be preparing? What's our angle? Do we think you meet the requirements for national interest waiver? What will this look like in terms of processing? So there's different ways to do this. Generally, what we do is we file the I-140, which with the whole entire application, the copy of Form ETA 750B, the I-140, the filing fee, all that stuff. And then we wait for it to be approved before we move forward with the adjustment of status or consular processing. But if we feel very strongly, and the client does as well, that they want to move forward this way, that it will be approved, and the visa is current, then we will, at the time of filing, we will then file the 485 concurrently at the same time, which we also could apply for work authorization and travel permission. Now, if a person is abroad and has to do consular processing, then we can't do adjustment because they're abroad, and we can't do consular processing. We can't move forward until the I-140 gets approved. So basically, the only times we would do it concurrently, I-140 and the 45, would be if the visa is available and we think it's a really strong national interest waiver, and the person is on status at the time of filing. And of course, that would be wonderful. We could do that for everybody, but not always do the stars align that all of those things are true. So sometimes it'll just be the I-140 and that person's still in some type of a dual intent or some other visa, and we wait. Now, one thing that people always ask is there premium processing for the I-140 for national interest waiver? Unfortunately, no, but that could change. Right now, as of what's today, April 30th, 2021, I'm just going to date stamp my statement there. There's not premium processing for the national interest waiver, but USCIS needs money. They might add that as a possibility. Right now, it's $2,500 for premium processing for those applications that are eligible, but for the premium for national interest waiver, it's not available right now. How long are they taking? Processing times are not normally trustworthy online. And COVID has thrown a wrench in normal processing times. I think you should aim for probably about a 6 to a 10-month wait time for the national interest waiver. But fingers crossed, and hopefully the processing is not taking as long, but you just have to plan accordingly. So the 45, just to I know it says that here, yes, adjustment of status, that would be to be able to convert the visa from the I-140 to the green card. And generally, if a person is in a dual intent visa, then we don't have any issues there, like L and H. But if a person's in another visa, then we might need to watch the processing, their plan to keep that case updated, and their timing of it all. Yes, so other things about national interest waivers, just to keep in mind, you would file the I-140 for the beneficiary, and if you have a family, you could file the adjustment of status for the rest of the family once the I-140, like we said, either is approved, the visa available, or if you want to file it concurrently. And again, when we say family, that means spouse, legal spouse, and children unmarried children under 21. So this is also a concern for people who have kiddos that are getting closer to 21, especially when you're thinking about the processing times. Now, what's also very important is that when you file the national interest waiver and you're here in the US, and you need to maintain status the whole time. And when you file the 45, you need to be in status when you file them concurrently. So I really enjoyed national interest waivers because I get to do a deep dive in lots of different fields, from oil and gas to the medical field to environmental, to AI, tech. And it's such an exciting area. And what I also love about it is it gives people an opportunity who, for whatever reason, don't have an offer with a position, or who are not, you're not having dependent on a job offer, or employment. So that gives people a lot of flexibility as well. And it's not dependent on investment or money, it's basically all on merit. And would you be in the US's national interest to come here and do your thing and excel and take it up a notch or two? And so remember, when you're doing this, it's always worth getting a consultation and analyze. It's also, please brag on your resume, your CV. Just, you can have your professional one, and then you can have your national interest waiver one. That's all true, but I too know that I forget often to put all the things I've done in my CV or resume. And I have to get Dana to help me fill it up. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them on our little chat Q&A. But Dana, why don't you let them know about where and else to hear from us in the future?
Yeah, of course. So again, guys, we really do enjoy having you all here, and hopefully we were able to teach you guys something maybe that you didn't know before. And thanks again, Attorney Powers, for giving us all this insightful information. And again, if you guys ever missed any of our presentations in the past, you can find them on our YouTube. Right now we're streaming live both on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you guys missed those, let us know. We can also send them to you directly just by emailing us at contact@rubypowerslaw or giving us a call at 713-589-2085. We urge you guys to follow us on our social medias and on our newsletter, because we always post things that are going on in the news, immigration related, or just super important that the most general public should know. So we just really do like having you guys on here. And again, if there's any topic in particular that maybe we haven't spoke about, or we have, but you just want to recap on it, let us know. We're always welcome for new topics of discussion and new webinar titles. So let us know. And for our newsletter right there, you see this cool little QR code, just hold your phone up to it with your camera, bam, scan it, and guess what? Subscribe to the newsletter.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And didn't we make our schedule for the rest of May and June for our webinars?
Yes, we did. So
we have lots of cool stuff. We have I-751s, conditional residence. We're going to be talking about the perm process.
Yeah.
The importance of not waiting till the last minute to get ready for immigration court. I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but we've got a lot of exciting topics that we haven't talked about. in probably a few months or so, or ever.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, go ahead.
no, well, I just wanted, I know this isn't specific to national interest waivers, but in this week's news, there was a USCIS policy about deference that they're going to go back to their old ways of if a visa had been previously been approved, like let's say an H or an E, then they will defer to that and give weight to that previous approval. So that's a huge win for renewing, especially in the employment-based space and all types of visas. And also there was such case law that's really good for cancellation of removal court cases for the stop time rule. They're making it harder for the government to be able to stop the clock for cancellation. That's a good thing for immigrants. And also, I was interviewed by Fox 26 local news about the nomination of Harris County's Sheriff Ed Gonzalez for ICE director nomination. And so you'll be able to see that on our socials if it hasn't already been put up yet. And but that's exciting to know that we have one of our own Houston's own, hopefully fingers crossed, to be past the Senate confirmation process. So we continue to monitor all of this. And so that's why it's really great to get on our newsletters and our social media. And I think that's it. Dana, any last words?
Nope, I think that's going to be it. So next week, we're going to have the I-601A waivers.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be dropping down the link to register to that down below. And that'll be it. Thank you all again so much for joining us, and stay dry out there for all of our Houstonians and drive safe.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.